So anyone remember what we did last time? Right. So last week we during the last session we discussed about web services architecture, right? And what are these? SOAP, WSDL, UDDI, those things. So and the advantages of these web services over usual monolithic applications, the cost of businesses and using other services likewise. So basically what you should understand is, when it comes to web services, the concept that you should understand is usually now if it is a normal application, monolithic application, everything is together. Everything is not distributed. So everything stays in the same repository or in the same application architecture. But when it comes to web services, it's more like a distributed architecture with which is loosely coupled. So when it comes to web services, there are a couple of advantages, like we can consume other services, we can consume services from businesses. There are many advantages in web services. So what you should understand here is, the basic thing is, web services is the way for businesses to contact with other business, right? So as an example, then a business, if you take a normal business, let's say a usual grocery store. Now, a grocery store people need to consult other businesses to get their stocks, right? To get rice, they have to consult some rice mills, and to get dal, they have to contact some importers of dal, right? So likewise, to get what you call bread and or bread flour, they have to contact some other party. So in the same way, online businesses or online applications or online software, in order to communicate between these online businesses or online applications or online software, web services is the way that these online businesses or these online applications communicate with each other, right? Sometimes this communication happens with human interaction. Under the supervision of humans. Now, when I click a button, the communication happens between two business entities. As an example, if I have an e-commerce website, when I click on checkout button, it will consume the web service of the bank or the payment gateway or PayPal and get the service done for me. But there are some instances these web services or these applications communicate with each other without our knowledge. So there are both instances. So simply, web services is the way that softwares or businesses which are placed on internet or which are based on computers communicate with each other, right? සරලවම ගන්න තියෙන එච්චර එක business කීපයක් එකට communicate කරගන්න තමයි අපි use කරන්නේ web services, right?
Okay, sir.
මොනවාරි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට unclear තැන් තියෙනවද මෙතන යනකම්? Anything that you don't understand from the last week, from the first week? Then අපි සති මේ fourth session එකනේ, this is the fourth session. So from the first session onwards, do you have anything that you don't understand or anything unclear before proceeding into the next level? So we can solve it at this level itself before moving ahead. Anything? No?
I think no, sir.
Right. So if you have anything that you don't understand, either you can interrupt me and ask, or else simply put a message to the chat so I can help. Right. So moving forward, today we are going to discuss about website specification language, or simply WSDL. WSDL. You can see, right? Slideshow එක පේනවනේ.
Oh, sir.
වෙනස.
Right. Okay. WSDL. Sometimes this is pronounced as WSDL. WSDL. WSDL කියලා කියනවා අපේ විදිහට කියනවා. Simply WSDL. So web services description language. Web services description language introduction. Right? So WSDL stands for Web Services Description Language. It is a standard format for describing a web service. Right? Now, when it comes to web services, there should be a description that you have that other parties who are accessing our web services. Web services access current other parties, right? Maybe let's say now we are the owners of PayPal or we are the developers of PayPal. So some other parties are accessing our services in order to get the payments done, right? So we have to give them correct instructions that these are the functions available, these are the methods available, these are the data values that we are accepting. So we have to give a description about our web services, right? So we are providing a web service and this is how we are going to this web service. These are the functions available, these are the data types or variables available. So these are the methods that we are accepting. So we have to give a description to our clients or the people or the other businesses who are consuming our web services. So that description is defined through this WSDL or Web Services Description Language, right? And this WSDL was developed by Microsoft and IBM. Both Microsoft and IBM developed this Web Services Description Language. Right? Let's go through the features of this WSDL. Right. So WSDL is an XML-based protocol for information exchange in decentralized and distributed environments. Right? So WSDL is an XML-based protocol. Right? So this is based on this WSDL, this document defined using XML. Right? So this is the platform for information exchange between web services or between different platforms, right? So this is a platform independent protocol which you can use to exchange data between distributed and decentralized environments, right? So what is platform independent means? There are two things: platform dependent, platform independent. Can anyone explain me what is platform dependent and what is platform independent? Some examples.
Can be used on any platform.
Yes, can be used
Like,
on any platform.
Like software using in different OSs.
Right. So yes, we can run on any OS, but we can run on any OS. So in this case, we are not referring to operating systems, but let's say operating system is also applicable. But let's say you are using different programming languages between different web services. So you're developing one web service from PHP, another from C#.NET, and the other one is from Java, and the next one is from Python, right? So if you want to communicate between these web services, so you want to send some information from PHP web service to Java web service, right? So if you are using XML, or if you are using WSDL and this XML-based SOAP or SOAP protocol, that means this is platform independent. So whether you use Java or whether you use PHP, whether you use C#, that doesn't matter. You can communicate between each of these services using this WSDL and this XML-based protocol, which is SOAP, right? Right. So මෙතන කියලා තියෙනවා here we have mentioned about XML, right? So can you tell me differences between the purpose of using XML without using some other service like HTML? HTML, what are the differences between HTML and XML? Can anyone answer? And you had obviously you have learned HTML, right? So XML කියන්නේ HTML වගේම තමයි. Tag එකක් open කරනවා, tag එකක් close කරනවා. There are attributes also.
We can store data in using XML, but we can't store data in HTML.
Right. So simplest now that is totally partially true. So best explanation that we can give is if someone asks what are the differences between XML. Yes, I get a message here. XML we can create our own tags. Tags not predefined, right? So in HTML we have predefined tags, right? So the document should be started using HTML tag and then the head tag, and then inside head we have to have title and meta tags, those things, and then the body tag. Inside body tag we have divisions, we have headings, we have so and so tags. So these all of these tags are predefined, right? That means if you are using HTML, you have to use these tags. You can't define your own tags, right? But when it comes to XML, you don't have this kind of predefined tags in XML. Instead, we can define our own tags, and we obviously we have to close them, right? Let's say you want to design, right? Let's say you want to use a tag called book. So you are transferring some information about books available in our e-commerce website. So we are having a website which is selling books. So you want to give what are the books available through XML document as a web service, right? So in this case, you can define a tag called book, right? Or books, a custom tag. So when it comes to HTML, you can't define such your own tags, right? You have to use these predefined tags. And when it comes to purpose of using XML and HTML, now HTML is being used to interpret data or display our data, right? XML use karane data display karane, and XML is used to transfer data or communicate data, right? That is the main difference. HTML is used to store, display data, right? Display some kind of data to the client or the user of the application software or the website or whatever the application that you are doing. But when it comes to this XML, it is being used to transfer data between different entities, right? So that is the difference between XML and HTML, right? Okay. So WSDL definitions describe how to access a web service and what operations it will perform, right? So this WSDL defines how another service or how another party, or maybe how another user or how another business should access a web service, right? And after accessing, what are the operations that could be performed with this web service, right? Now that is defined inside this web services definition language, right? So WSDL definitions describe how to access a web service and what operations it will perform. So in next slides, you will learn that how this WSL document is defined and how it defines this the way of accessing the web service and what are the operations that it is going to perform, right? WSDL is a language for describing how to interface with XML-based services. That is what we discussed earlier. WSDL is an integral part of Universal Description, Discovery and Integration, right? XML-based Worldwide Business Registry. So we'll discuss this in UDDI. There will be another session for UDDI in that, right? WSDL is the language that UDDI uses, right? So it is pronounced as WSDL, right? So as an example, WSDL or WSDL. Make a pronounce correct. Right? WSDL is often used in combination with SOAP, right? So last week we learned this SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol, right? So this communication is mainly happen through the SOAP documents which are defined using XML schema, right? Up here last week request response again, not last week, 2 weeks before. So WSDL is often used in combination with SOAP and XML schema to provide web services over the internet. A client programming connecting to a web service can read WSDL to determine what functions are available on the server, right? So as I explained earlier, client programs or the other businesses or maybe other users who are connecting to a web service can read WSDL to determine what are the functions are available on this server, right? So what are the functions they can perform, what are the information they can gain by accessing this server is defined inside this web services description language document. Any special data types used are embedded in WSDL file in the format of XML schema. The client can then use SOAP to actually call one of the functions listed in the WSDL. Right? So WSDL 1.1 was submitted as W3C, not by Ariba, IBM, and Microsoft. Right? And this was discovered in March 2001. There was a rumor that WSDL 2 is coming, but it has not released till now. I don't think it will release in the future also. Right. Right. WSDL breaks down web services into 3 specific identifiable elements that can be combined or used once defined. Right. So WSDL breaks down web services into 3 specific identifiable elements. Right. So these are these three elements, right? Types, operations, binding. Right. So we'll come to this point after going through an example of WSDL next. Otherwise, if I tell you what are these types, operations, and bindings, you will not understand anything. Right. So basically, WSDL document contains following elements, right? So inside the WSDL document, you can see these types of elements: definition, data types, message, operations, right? So in the definition is the root of any kind of WSDL document. So whatever the WSDL document, definition is there. So it defines the name of the web service, right? So it defines the name of the web service, right? Declares multiple namespaces used throughout the remainder of the document, right? So what are the namespaces? So what are the naming conventions that are going to use through this web service? And all the service elements are described in this definition. So basically, WSDL defines what are the items that are included in this web service, right? What are the names of these services available? What are the names of these data types and namespaces? Everything is defined inside this definition part of a WSDL document, right? So this is a WSDL is a XML document. So inside that we have these 4 parts. From these 4 parts, definition part defines this is the root element, and it defines name of the web service, namespaces, and contains services inside this definition, right? And then it defines data types, right? So the data types to be used in messages are in the form of XML schemas, right? So as we discussed in our last session, so web service is used to communicate some sort of data between different business entities, or maybe between different businesses, or between different companies, right? So when it comes to communicating in between these web services, right, there should be some sort of data types available. It can be integers, it can be strings, then it can be variable characters, it can be booleans, and it can be currencies, it can be date times. There can be various types of data types used inside these web services, right? So after the definition, these data types which we are going to use throughout these web services are defined in this WSDL document. After these data types, then we have message, right? So it is the definition of data in the form of a message presented either as an entire document or as an argument to be mapped to a method invocation, right? So what are the messages? Let's say these are the functions. So let's say you want to get the number of books available, right? So message will be number of books, right? So there can be two messages, response message, request message. So once you make a request, you will get a response saying, so for the request you made, this is your response, right? So we discussed this in our last session. So in web services, first we send a request to the web service. I need this information. I need the price of this book, right? So we are in e-commerce website. We are sending a message to the web service that we need the price of this book. So it comes as price of the book, and it is a request. And for that request, web service returns what you call a response, right? So that is defined in this message section. Operation. So it is the abstract definition of the operation for a message, right? So what should happen when someone sent a message to the web service? Web service request what is the next thing that should be happened is defined inside this operation, right? So basically WSDL document has this definition, data types, message and operation, right? So definition defines all the root details of the web service. What are the services available, and what are the naming conventions, what are the namespaces, and how this web service is being used. Everything is defined in this WSDL documents definition section. And data type section, it is going to define what are the data types that we are going to use within this WSDL document, right? And the message. So what are the messages that we can receive, and what should be the responses that we should give to those messages? That is defined under messages. And operation, how this web service should behave when it receives some kind of a request or when it make some kind of a response, right? So these are the four parts that are containing inside the first four parts that are containing inside a WSDL document. Then we have port type. It is an abstract set of operation mapped to one or more endpoint, defining the collection of operations for binding, right? The collection of operations and right. So we'll discuss with these examples, right? So these are the four main things that you have to keep in mind: definition, data types, message, and operations. The next four types, this is also important. So we are going to discuss this with the example in the next slide, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, මේ පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. අර මේ definition එකේ කතා කරන්නේ අර මේ user namespace කියලා එකක්.
Oh.
අන්න user namespace කියන එක චුට්ටක් විස්තර ගන්න පුළුවන් සර්. මේ ඒක අර මේ C++ වලදී මට මතක හැටියට ඒක
C++ වලදී ඔයගොල්ලෝ namespace
ඒක දිහා වෙනවා. ඒකේ පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක මොකක්ද කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් හඳුන්වලා දෙන්න පුළුවන් සර්.
right. මම ඒක මේ අපිට ඉස්සරහට example එකක් කියනවා. එතකොට explain කරන්න ඒක ලේසි වට තේරුම් ගන්න.
Okay sir. හොඳයි.
Right. So this is the structure of WSDL document, right? Right. So, as you can see, first we are going to give the definition. So this is the root element, as I mentioned. It is the root element of the WSDL, right? And we have data types here, and we have messages, port type, operations, bindings, and services, right? So this is the basic structure of a WSDL document, and this is defined using XML, right? So going forward, I'm going to get an example WSDL document now. Example, right? Can you see this? So this is a example WSDL document that is defined inside the web service. So you asked what are the namespaces, right? So namespace stands for what you call a unique naming convention, right? So you have to have, for a web service or for an XML file, you need to have a unique name, right? And that should be defined according to this W3C standards, right? So when it comes to web services are standard W3C standards, right? So W3C means that's the standard for websites, web applications, and web services, right? So you have to have maintain these standards when you're developing a web service or website or whatever, something related to websites, right? So web services, the namespaces means the unique name of your web service, right? So here you can see the name. It is defined here. The name of the web service is Hello Service, right? So the target namespace, then again, this example.com. What is this example.com? This is the domain of your web service. Let's say this is PayPal. You are developing the site for the web service for the PayPal, right? So here you have the domain name of your website and then the paths for WSDL document. So whenever some other web service wants to access your web services or wants to consume your web services, they simply access this WSDL file. From there, they can see what are the data types available, what are the methods available, what are the ports available, and what are the messages available, right? So everything inside this web service, they can see what are the things they can perform, as well as what are the things they can get through this web service through this WSDL. So whenever some other party is trying to access your web service, they first have to access this WSDL and refer these data, right? Then here we have message, right? So the message name is say hello request, right? And the data type for this message is first string, right? And name for this data type is first name, right? Then again, the name of the data type is greeting and the data type is string, right? So this port type means they are accessing this say hello method, right? So they are accessing this say hello method through hello port type. So the target namespace is say hello request and say hello response, right? So this is a example document. So since now right, and these are the bindings. So since now you have seen this, we'll see the definitions of each of these services. So WSDL definitions. So the definitions element must be the root element of all WSDL documents. It defines the name of the web service. And from the below example, we can conclude that definition, right? So as you have seen, as you seen in this example, definitions or these definitions is the root element of this WSDL documents, right? It is the content of all the other elements, right? So each and every element that is inside our web service definition language document is inside this definitions tag, right? So specified that this document is called hello service, right? So if you can remember the example, you could see that definition and name equals hello service, right? So the namespace of this web service is hello service, right? So it specifies that this document is called hello service. So definition ki attribute. There was an attribute inside this that definition. So if I can show it to you again, right? So you can see here definition and its name is hello service, right? As you can see here. So it says here, specified that this document is called hello service. So that web service document is called that particular web services description language document is called hello service, right? Specifies the target namespace attribute, right? The target namespace is a convention of XML schema that enables WSDL document to refer itself. In example, we have specified the target namespace of hello service.wsdl, right? Right. So if I show that also, so here you can see target namespace is Hello Services WSDL. So this means basically this gives the client the instruction to access the same WSDL document, right? So accessing itself as defined here, right? Specify the target namespace attribute. The target namespace is a convention of XML schema that enables WSDL document to refer it to itself, right? So yes, we can take a little break because some of our students need to break their fasting and for their prayers. So let's take a break of 10 minutes, right?
Okay, sir.
So in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can ask. Till we start the session, you can, if you have any questions, you can ask. Bind some ports, right? Ports means some endpoint, right? So මේ endpoint එකට අපම මෙන්න මේ දේවල් කරගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා මෙයාට කියනවා. මෙන්න මේ endpoint එක නම් access කරන්න මේ endpoint එකෙන් you can do these and these things, right? So this endpoint is binded to hello bindings. So this is the hello binding endpoint, right? So inside this hello binding you have operation name say hello, right? And input and output as well, right? So then we have this SOAP operation, right? Which is under this port type, hello port type, which is say hello, right? And this say hello operation has one input and one output. The input is say hello request, the output is say hello response, right? So we have input message, which is say hello request, and then we have the output message, say hello response. Yeah, Herman.
Clear, sir.
So in the exam, so in your example, so whenever you go to the industry, no one is asking you to write the WSDL document, right? Because this is generated through the system, but you should understand the function of each of these attribute inside this WSDL document. Make ඇතුලේ තියෙන හැම මේ binding එකක service එකක ඊට පස්සේ port type එක operation එකක message එකක you should understand what is the use of each of these elements. මම ඔයගලන්ට job vacancy එකක් තියෙනවා කියන ගමන් අද දැක්ක නේද? So if anyone have that experience, you can apply. That is in my office, in my department, under my supervision we will be working. So right, we'll start again now. So inside this WSDL, this definitions element or the definitions element must be the root element. So everything is inside this definition element, right? Definition element, right? Specified that this document is called hello service. You saw that in the example. Specify the target namespace attribute. The target namespace is a convention of XML schema that enables the WSDL document to refer to itself. In this example, we have specified target namespace of hello service.wsdl, right? Right? Then we specify a default namespace, right? Apart from this target namespace, we define a default namespace, right? So all elements without a namespace prefix, right? Namespace එක නැති හැම element එකක්ම belongs to this default namespace, right? That can either be message, port type, and everything else without this. Let's go back to here. So here we have the anything. This message has no namespace, and this port type has no namespace. So anything without namespace, any item without a namespace belongs to the default namespace defined in the definitions, right? Specifies numerous namespace namespaces that are used throughout the remainder of the document, right? The namespace specification does not require the document to be present at the given location. The important point is that you specify value that is unique, different from all other namespaces that are defined, right? So this namespace should be unique, right? And yes, the namespace specification does not require the document to be present at the given location. You don't need a document present at the given location, but the only thing is you have to define the unique name different from all other namespaces as the namespace, right? Namespaces can't be duplicated. So this is the namespace. You can see hello service. The target namespace is hello service.wsdl, right? So you can see a example for a definition. And then we have types. A web service needs to define its inputs and outputs and how they are mapped into and out of the services, right? WSDL types element takes care of defining the data types that are used by the web service. Types are XML documents or document paths, right? So what you should understand here is, now as I defined earlier, right? So we have the types. So inside types, we have this data types that are being used in this WSDL or our web service. Our web service එක use කරන data types මොනවද කියලා තියෙනවා, right? So types are XML documents or document paths, right? So when you're defining a type, that can be XML, separate XML document. You can attach a separate XML document, right? Or else you can define it within the same document as a document path. So here you can see types. Inside types, we have several elements, right? So, so this type is ticker symbol. It is a string, and the price is floating point. So likewise, you can define many data types and data used between the web service, right? The types element describe all the data types used between the client and the server, right? So client and the server, client and server, whatever the data types you're using, you have to define it in the WSDL document. WSDL is not tied exclusively to a specific typing system, right? So in here, so in different programming languages, you have different types of what you call data types, right? So when it comes to MySQL, you have separate types of data. When it comes to PHP, then again you have different types of data. When it comes to C++, then again you have different naming conventions for each type of data, right? Python. So WSDL is not tied exclusively to a specific typing system, right? A typing system exclusive right? WSDL uses W3C's XML schema specification as its default choice to define data types, right? So it uses XML schema defined by W3C, right, which is the standard for web services or websites, as its default choice to define data types. So data types defined කරන්න by W3C standards. So if you go to w3.org and this file, you can see the data types available for WSDL, right? If service uses only XML schema, built-in simple types such as strings, integers, and their types element is not required, right? So if you are using the web service is using simple data types, strings, integers, floating point, booleans, so common data types. We have common data types now. So if you are using those common data types, so you don't have to have this element. The element කියන එක දාන්න ඕනේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ use කරන්නේ simple data types. මේ element කියන එක ඇත්තටම අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. If you're using simple data types like string, float, integer, likewise those common ones. WSDL allows the types to be defined in separate elements so that the types are reusable with multiple web services, right? So here you can see there's an element. And inside that we have this complex type, right? So there's this element called trade price request. Inside that we have this complex type, and then we have all, and then we have the correct element here. Hari element එක මෙතන තියෙනවා. ඒකට එළියෙන් තව තියෙනවා වෙනම element එකක්. Why is this? Now you can reuse this trade price request. This element named as trade price request, you can reuse this for another web service. Make a web service you can reuse, right? So if you define this ticker symbol element outside of each of these things, ticker symbol කියන එක මේ elements වලට ඔක්කොටම එළියේ. If you define this element ticker symbol outside of each of these elements, still it works, right? But when it comes to reusing, if you have to use this trade price request in some other web service also, or some other WSDL or some other file, you have to write these things, each elements again and again. But in this case, you can simply use this trade price request element, right? Side define right? So that's what is defined here. WSDL allows types to be defined in separate elements like this. This is a separate element like this, so that the types are usable with multiple web services, right? So these are all about types. So data types address the problem of identifying the data types and format you intend to use with your web services, right? Type information is shared between the sender and the receiver. Right. The recipient of message is therefore need to access information used to encode your data and must understand how to decode the data. Right. So data types when this web service is accessed by some other party, they don't know what are the data types that are being used inside our web service. Our web service එකකට use data types මොනවද කියලා පිට කෙනෙක් දන්නේ නැහැ. Because the third party is accessing our web service, so they don't know anything about. They don't have a clue about what are the data types that are going to use in our web service, right? So in this case, this types attribute, right? This types attribute solves the problem of identifying the data types, right? And the formats that you intend to use with your web service, right? And then the message data type, sorry, the message element or the message tag, right? The message element describes the data being exchanged between the web service provider and the consumers, right? So before coming to this place, do you have any questions in types? So WSDL message, the message element describes the data being exchanged between the web service providers and consumers, right? So when it comes to web services, the main use of a web service is to exchange data between web service providers and the consumers, right? That means if I want to access the PayPal, so I'm exchanging some data between PayPal and me, right? So in that case, the message element describes the data being exchanged between the web service providers and the consumers, right? So this defines what are the types of data that is being exchanged. So each web service has two messages, input and output, right? So in each web service, it has two types of messages. One is input, that is the request that we are making, output, and that is the response that we are getting from the web service, right? So input means the request that we are making, output means the response that we are getting from the web service, right? Let's say we are asking for the price of the items now available, right? Let's say now we need to get the price of a cloth that is being there at a particular e-commerce website, right? So we send a request to the web service asking for the price, right? And it returns the price to us as a floating point number, right? The input describes the parameters for web service and output describes the return data from the web service, right? So input describes what are the parameters that we should send to the web service in order to get a particular output, right? So input එකේදී කියන මෙන්න මේ parameters තමයි අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. Output says, and the output says we are sending this output for the input that you are making, right? Each message contains 0 or more parameters, right? 0 or more part parameters, right? One for each parameter of the web service function, right? Each part parameter associates with concrete type defined in the types contain element, right? So each message has 0 or part parameters. So it has 0 or more. It has at least 0 or more parameters, right? So one for each parameter of the web service function. Each part parameter associates with concrete type defined in the types contain element, right? එතකොට හැම part parameter එකක්ම මේ types වල define කරපු data type එකක් එක්ක associate වෙනවා. So this is a message. So message name is say hello request. The part name is first name. Type is string. The message name is say hello response. Now this is the input. This is the output, right? So part name is first name. The second one, the type is string, right? So whenever you send some input to this say hello request, right? So as an example, you are sending your first name to say hello request, right? And that should be a string, right? So once you send this first name to say hello request, it will return the greeting, right? And that is also string, right? So this is say hello request, this is say hello response, input and the output. So can you remember that I told you, when it comes to web services, we don't know what is happening inside the web service. What are the what are the logics used, what are the data types used, and what is the mechanism of doing this, returning these responses, what are the programming languages used. I told you in our first sessions, we don't know anything that happens inside the web service, right? We don't know the logic behind the web service. What we know is we have to give this input, and if we give this input, it will return an output like this. So this is an example. So when you send the say hello request with your first name, it will send the say hello response with the greeting, right? And the data type is string. Understand? So the port time element combines multiple message elements to form a complete one-way or round trip operation, right? So now here we have multiple message elements: say hello request, say hello response, right? So there are two message elements, right? So port time element combines multiple message elements to form a complete one-way or round trip, right? So this port type element is combining multiple messages, right? Let's say hello request and say hello response, say hello request and say hello response. So it combines this say hello request and say hello response to form a complete one-way or round trip, right? So one-way trip means we are sending the request only, or we are getting the response only. Round trip means we are sending the request and we are getting a response for the request. So in here, we don't have any connection between the say hello request and say hello response. So this connection between say hello request and say hello response is established through this port type element, right? So as it implies here, the port type element combines multiple message elements to form a complete one-way or round trip operation. For example, a port type can combine one request and one response message into a single request response operation. This is most commonly used in SOAP service. A port type can define multiple operations, right? So here you can see the port type is hello port type, right? The operation is say hello. So input message is say hello request. Output message is say hello response, right? So this port type, hello port type, has combined these two message elements and formed a complete round trip, right? Round trip can be right? You're going and coming back. So whenever you send a request to say hello request with the name of the first name with data type string, it will return you the say hello response with greeting as a string, right? So this port type elements combines multiple messages to form a complete round trip or maybe one-way trip also, right? So hello port type එකෙන් කරන්නේ අර message වල තියෙන inputs output keep a combine कर लेका process से का खाद नहीं, right? Right. So there are several types of operations in port type, right? Patterns of operations of port type. First one is one way. The service receives a message. The operation therefore has a single input element. Right. So in here, this has only input. There's no output, right? So as an example, let's say if you want to save some values, let's say you want to save the student's index number in the database, right? In a particular web service, right? So you have a web service. In that web service, the what that web service does is whenever you send student's index number as a particular data type, it saves that in the database and it returns nothing. Make a save කරගන්න විතර එන මොකුත් අපිට output එකක් ගන්න. In that case, that is a one-way trip, and this is how you define a one-way trip. So when you send a message, that's it, nothing happens. That is one way. And then we have request and response. The service receives a message and send a response. That is what we discussed earlier. So when you send a particular message, you get a response also, and that is a round trip. When you send a message, you get a response. Right? That is what that is. For that we call request response. This one is one way, and this is request response. Right? Right. So this solicit response means the service sends a message and receives a response, right? The operation therefore has one output element followed by one input element, right? So to encapsulate errors, an optional fault element can also be specified, right? So in here, the difference is you send a message, you receive a response. So if there's any error, it will return the error also, right? Request එක ගම ඒක හරියන response එක කරනවා. But if there is any error, maybe in the server, maybe in the database, maybe some technical fault, maybe your input is wrong, whatever when there's an error, it will return this fault element, and that what we call solicit response. The third types of patterns of operation. Next one is notification, right? So what is a notification? The service sends a message, right? One way means the users of or the consumers of the service is sending a message to the service, right? So notifications means service send a message to the consumer, right? So WSDL output is token. As an example, let's say you are booking a taxi in PickMe, so it will give a response to you once all the booking is done that your driver is nearby. Booking the notification the driver is nearby. This is an example for notification pattern of operation. Right? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Right. And this is all about port types. Right? Now we discussed about port types, and we have discussed about four things. Four patterns of operation: one way, request response, solicit response, and then notification. So the differences between these four are: one way means the consumer sends a message to the web service and web service returns nothing. And the second one is request response. Request response means the consumer sends a message to the web service sends a suitable response for that request, right? Solicit response means same way as the request response, it sends a request and the web service returns some sort of output, so or a response. So if there is any error, it will respond the fault also as a fault out, right? And then we have notifications where the service sends a message to the consumer without any input from the consumer. Consumer can input tech method. Mocker service again a web service again notification again, that is a notification, right? So these are the four types available. WSDL binding. right? So the binding element provides specific detail on how a port type operation will actually be transmitted over the wire or simply over the network, right? So any port type operation that we define here, that should be transmitted over a network in order to get the use of that. Network එක through මේව transfer කරන්න බැරි නම් මේකෙන් අපිට වැඩක් ගන්න බෑනේ. So to get the use of this port type, we need to transmit over a wire. Wire එකකින් කියන්නේ network එකක් through මේක transmit කරන්න ඕනේ. Right? So these bindings will provide specific details on how port type operation will actually be transmitted over the wire, right? So the bindings can be made available via multiple transports including HTTP GET, HTTP POST, or SOAP, right? So the bindings can be made available via multiple transports including HTTP GET, HTTP POST, or SOAP, right? So have you seen whenever you are developing an application through PHP, web application through PHP, whenever you're trying to process the form, in the form you have two types of attributes. One is action, other one is what?
Target.
Sorry?
Target.
No, not target. Form එකකදී අපි define කරනවා මේවා දෙකක් mainly. One is action, other one is what?
Method.
Method, right? So there are two types of methods mainly, get and post, right? So this binding element defines what is the transport type that it is going to accept, whether it is get or post or SOAP, right? Let's say you want to save something to the cell. So what is the data type? Get, post, or SOAP, right? So what is the difference between get and post? Anubhav? देखिए post के मैंने सर
get එකේදී URL එකේ යන data ටික හංගනවා, post එකේදී data හංගන්නේ නැහැ.
right. The simple answer is get method එකේදී the get method you send the data in the URL, right, as a query string, right? When it comes to the get method, you send the data as a query string in the URL. But when it comes to port method, that is much more secured, that because the data is binded to the body of the message, right? Message body that is more secured, right? But still there are ways to get what is the message that you're going to send. Still there are ways, right? So the binding provide information where the service is located, right? Binding location where the service is located. For SOAP protocol, the binding is SOAP binding, right? And the transport of SOAP messages on top of HTTP protocol, right? So it mentions here you can specify multiple bindings for a single port type, right? So here it mentions you can have multiple bindings for a single post type, right? So it can either be what you call get, post, or what you call SOAP, right? Apart from this get and post, now this is something additional, something out of your syllabus. So these are the protocols available for WSDL or XML based SOAP web services, right? So when it comes to REST services, do you know what are the the methods available? Transport methods. REST services are not available here than 9.
HTTPM.
Sorry? Then this is something additional to your syllabus. So when it comes to SOAP or XML based web services, you have HTTP GET and HTTP POST or SOAP, right? So there are 3. But when it comes to REST services, JSON web services, right? Simply we say RESTful services or REST APIs, REST web services. What are the transport types available?
HTTPS.
No, that is a protocol for, HTTP transferring between data, right? So there are some binding types. Let's say, bindings available for REST services. Somehow Laravel M karana inna danno it. Right. So when it comes to when we are developing a web application, right? Something additional for you, something that is valuable for your knowledge, right? Whenever we are developing a web application or a web service or some kind of a software, basically what we are doing is we are doing CRUD, CRUD, right? Whatever the application you do, that is some sort of advanced level of CRUD, right? So what is this CRUD means? CRUD can CRUD CRUD.
Create, retrieve, update and delete.
Create, read, update and delete, right? So ඔගොල්ලෝ මොන software හැදුවත් ඔය software එකේ කරන්නේ ඔය හතර තමයි. Create, read, update and delete. Nothing other than that, right? So when it comes to REST services, මේවට තියෙනවා මේ binding types හතරක්, methods හතරක්. Right? Create නම් මොකද්ද? Create නම් post. Read නම් get. Create, read, update නම් මොකද්ද? Update නම් put. Delete නම් delete. Those are the 4 methods that is being used in REST services, right? REST services වල තියෙන්නේ get post විතරක් නෙමෙයි. Create නම් post, read නම් get, update නම් put, delete නම් delete. ඔය හතර තමයි REST services වල use කරන්නේ. Whenever you come to you are using right. Right. Moving ahead. WSDL 1.1 includes built-in extensions for SOAP 1.1. It allows you to specify SOAP specific details including SOAP headers, SOAP encoding styles, and SOAP AP action HTTP header. Right? SOAP extension elements include the following: binding, operation, and coding. So we'll learn this when we are dealing with extension, right? So this is a SOAP body. Let's do this in XML. And here we have WSDL port, right? The port element defines an individual endpoint by specifying a single address for a binding, right? Here's the grammar to specify a port. The port element has 2 attributes, name and binding. The name attributes provide a unique name among all ports defined within the enclosing WSDL document. The binding attribute refers to the binding using the linking rules defined by WSDL, right? So binding extensibility elements are used to specify the address information for the port, right? Right. So here you can see we have ports, right? So port binding is hello binding, name is hello port, and the SOAP address is location HTTP examples say hello, right? So this is a binding. So you will understand this better when we are doing this practicals of XML. Otherwise, මම මෙතන මේක කොච්චර explain කරත් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේක තේරුම් යන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So we will cover all of this with practicals. Otherwise, you will not understand. So WSDL service. The service element defines the ports supported by the web service. For each of the supported protocols, there is one port element. The service element is a collection of ports. So the service element defines the ports supported by the web service. Right? For each of the supported protocols, there is one port element. Right? Web service clients can learn the following from the service element: where to access the service, through which ports to access the web service, and how the communication messages are defined. Right? So this is a sample service. So it says WSDL file for hello service. So service element defines what are the ports. These ports, what are the ports supported by this particular web service, right? So it supports hello port and it is binded to hello binding. And the location of this port, right? So where are you going to access this port is using this examples.com say hello, right? So if you want to access the item binded to this port, hello binding in make access karanna, you have to access this SOAP address, right? Examples.com say hello, right? So that means this service is binded to this port hello binding, right? So if we go back to the example file I showed you before couple of minutes. So here we have the definition name, hello service, right? And the target namespace. So here we have the service name, which is hello service, and WSDL file for hello service, right? So, and it has this port, right? The port is hello binding, and the port name is, and port is binded to hello binding, right? Which is this. මේ port එක bound කරලා තියෙන hello port කියන port එක bound කරලා තියෙන්නේ hello binding කියන port එක target namespace එකට. So this is bounded to this target namespace, right? And the name of this port is hello port, right? So if you want to access now, this is telling WSDL is telling the consumer, if you want to access this hello binding port, you should probably call this URL, right? So if you want to access this port called hello port, you have to come to this URL, right? If you want to access this hello port, right? So once you access this hello port, you will be sent to this hello binding. So let's go to this hello binding, right? The target namespace is here hello port type. So hello binding එකේ target namespace එක තමයි this hello port type, right? So services has ports, right? And port bindings. This port binding have port type, right? So this binding has whatever the SOAP items, the inputs and outputs and everything, right? And the encoding that is being used. So XML SOAP කියන standard එකට තමයි මේක encode කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා මේ encoding style එක SOAP එකේ දීලා තියෙනවා, SOAP body එක, right? So yes, and the operation is say hello, right? So this hello binding is bounded to hello port type. So let's go to hello port type. So in this hello port type, there's an operation called say hello, right? So I told you in the session, in our theory part, when it comes to port types, that means it is making either one way or round trip among input and output messages, right? Port type input and output messages round trip one way trip, right? So port type is what the port type is doing is it combines few messages and make one way or round trip among these messages, right? So operation is say hello, and the port type is hello port type. Input message is say hello request, output message is say hello response. So here you can see input say hello request, you can see it here, and output message say hello response. You can see it here, right? So whenever someone accesses WSDL, it gives the consumer the complete overview of our web service and how and what to use in this our web service. What are the data types available, right? So here we have the data types, string and string. So as you can remember, I told you that if you are using simple data types like string, integer, float, and those common ones, you don't have to define element here. It's an element here defined current ones. So since we are using simple data types, I have not defined element tag here, right? So this is the WSDL document. Any questions? So I have to tell again, you don't have to again කටපාඩම් කරනවා කියන you don't have to කටපාඩමින් මේක මතක තියාගෙන මේක ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ, right? Since this is automatically generated using web services aware tools, right? Web services වලට ගන්න වෙනම tools තියෙනවා, plugins තියෙනවා, ඒ වගේ මේ automatically generate කරනවා. So you don't have to see and what you call කටපාඩම් කරන්න ඕනේ, but you should be able to say the logic behind this web service, for what purpose this port type is, for what purpose is message use, for what purpose is binding use, right? And what is happened through this target namespace. Likewise, you should be able to define. So do you have any questions? Right, UDDI, Universal Description, Discovery and Integration, right? So WSDL describe the web service, how to use web service, what to use, when to use, what are the data types, everything is described inside the WSDL, right? And these web services need to be discovered in order to work, right? If these web services need to be working, you should be able to discover what are the web services available, right? Web services discover කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා, right? So UDDI, right? Universal Description, Discovery and Integration. So this is like the yellow page. What is yellow pages? Yellow pages කියනවා නේද? Yellow pages තියෙන ඇමරිකාවේ, ලංකාවේ තියෙන rainbow pages. දැන් තේරෙනවද? Telephone directories, right? So UDDI is something like a telephone directory for web services, right? To discover web services. So we'll see how it happens, right? UDDI is a platform independent framework for describing services, discovering businesses and integrating business services by using the internet, right? So UDDI is a platform independent framework to describe web services, discover businesses and integrate business services by using internet, right? So this is again a platform independent framework to describe services and discover businesses and integrate business services by using internet, right? So I told you that at the beginning of today's session, web services are to enable communication between businesses through the internet or some sort of network, right? So using some sort of network to enable communication between various businesses, right? The website, the main use of the web services is that, right? Or the service-oriented architecture, right? So now this UDDI is a platform independent framework to describe web services and discover what are the web services available that we can to collaborate or integrate businesses together, right? So what are the web services available to? What are the web services available to discover businesses and integrate businesses together by using internet, right? UDDI stands for Universal Description, Discovery and Integration. UDDI is a directory for storing information about web services, right? UDDI is a directory of web service interfaces described by WSDL, right? So in this UDDI, we have a directory of web services of different web businesses that could be integrated to our business, right? So let's say that now there are some businesses that we can make use through the internet, right? As an example, PayPal, right? Or as an example, some website that is keeping stocks for various items, so we can use them to dropship, right? So UDI DDI is a directory for such web services to find out what are the services available and integrate with our business, right? So there can be conditions. So anyways, we can integrate. So UDDI is a directory of web service interfaces described by web services definition language, right? So this is kind of a telephone directory kind of a thing, right? So we can discover what are the web services available and whether we can use it for our business also, right? So as an example, as I told you earlier, it's like we are ordering some items from nearby suppliers, right? As an example, let's say we are doing a printer business, so we need to order printer toners from some kind of a supplier. In a similar way, we are doing online business, so we need some kind of a service from another business. So we can find a similar one from UDDI and use their web service to get our services from them. So we might have to pay for them for using that web service, or maybe, however, we can use that, right? So UDDI is there to store information about these web services available. Okay. Right. How can UDDI be used? If the industry published an UDDI standard for flight rate checking and reservation, airlines could register their services into an UDDI directory, right? So if the industry can publish a UDDI standard and UDDI standard, if the industry has a particular standard for UDDI, so for flight rate checking වලට මොකක් හරි ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකක් ඒගොල්ලන්ට දෙන්න පුළුවන් නම් if they can publish some kind of standard that saying that you should use this particular format for your web services to check flight rates and reservations, right? So airlines could register their services into an UDDI directory. So if there's such a standard, they can create, airlines can register for such directory with their services, right? And then travel agencies could then search the UDDI directory to find the airline's reservation interface, right? So as imagine every airline has the similar web service architecture or similar WSDL, a standard UDDI, right? Each and every one of airlines have the similar structure for the UDDI and WSDL, right? So the travel agents can simply search each and every web service of this airlines and find reservation information, right? And when the information is found, the travel agency can communicate with the service immediately because it uses well-defined reservation interface. So the case here is, let's say every airline has their own web services defined into a particular standard. So everyone follows the same standard, right? So everything is similar now. So travel agencies can search through each and every one of these web services, consume the information and get the rates for a particular journey. Let's say as an example, I'm going abroad on 28th of this month and I'm returning on 30th of this month, right? So I'm going to a travel agency site and I'm entering, right? I'm leaving on this day and I'm coming back on this day. I want the cheapest flight, right? So travel agency website search through each and every web services available in this UDDI for airlines, and they get the price of each what you call airline for the particular day and particular time. And then we can filter the cheapest from one out of them and make the booking. Right? Has anyone come across such a solution? එයාගේ solution එක දැකලා තියෙනවද? What travel agencies do is they are doing this manually. Has anyone seen such interface which everything is automated? You can go to the travel agency's website, you can enter the date, then it will return the cheapest airline tickets available for that particular journey. Can everyone see this?
Yes, sir.
right? So let's say I'm starting my journey from Colombo and ending from, let's say Dubai, right? And the departure date is 28th of this month, and I'm coming back on 30th, right? Number of travelers 2, right? So once I click on the search button, it will search through the airlines available in this UDDI, and it will return me cheapest airlines available. මේ දවස්වල තියෙද්දන්න ඉතින් plane නැහැ. Right now it is searching, so you can see here. See, so Air Arabia 73,000, right? Qatar Airways 137,000, Emirates 172,000, right? Likewise, it will search through this standard UDDI of each and every airline and return me the cheapest one, right? So what happens here is this Find My Fare site is searching through the web services of each and every airlines in the world, which are available through a particular UDDI, right? And then it returns us the cheapest air tickets available in these dates, 28th and 30th, right? Do you understand now how this UDDI works? So now UDDI is that it is kind of a dictionary that is available. Oh, sorry, not a dictionary. It's kind of a telephone directory kind of a thing that is for web services. Right, moving ahead. So what is missing? Quality of service. So what is the quality of these services? The quality of these services, how fast, how reliable, right? Smart searching. So these are the things that are missing from web services, right? So we can't assure the quality of service, how fast it works, how reliable, how accurate. We can't get through to them, right? Because these services are developed by different parties, so we can't assure the quality of service, right? And these are the problems: complex, long-running web services, communication infrastructures, analysis and verification, automatic composition of complex services. So these are the problems that we have at the moment when it comes to web services, right? So web services are sometimes, with the time, these are getting complex, and it is taking much more time to provide these services. Communication infrastructure, asynchronous communication. So I told you about synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous means it is executing line by line. Asynchronous means executing at the same time, right? And analysis and verification. We have to analyze and verify whether the information provided by these web services are true or false. Otherwise, we don't know. Anyone can provide false services for us, right? And automatic composition of complex services. Now there are many more complex services available. Whether these could be composed automatically and get the best for us, right? Now if it is a manual process, we can always use our mind and compose information taken from each and every service and get the best. But whether the computer is capable of automatically doing this, now that is the problem we are having. So that is the end of theoretical parts in this web applications module. So do you have any questions? Anything?
Also.
Right. So now, do you understand how these web services works?
Yes, sir.
How they communicate with each other?
Yes, sir.
Right. So then we can start XML. Right. Have you all done Ajax? Ajax කියලා අහලා තියෙනවද?
Yes, sir.
කරලා තියෙනවද කලින්? You developing websites?
Develop කරලා දෙන කරලා නැහැ, sir.
Development කරලා නැහැ. Right. So before going to XML, you will have to learn this Ajax. of Ajax works. Ajax means asynchronous JavaScript and XML, right? So Ajax is not what you call a programming language, but that is a communication methodology, right? How we are going to communicate between web services. So this communication usually happens through Ajax, right? So before going to XML, we will have to learn how this Ajax works, right? So I want you to go through this Ajax example available at W3 schools. One W3 schools use කරන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. ඒක පාවිච්චි කරන මොනවාරද කියන ගන්න කට්ටිය.
ඔව් සර්.
You will have to, if you can go through this Ajax introduction in W3 schools, what happens is the most simple example is, now let's say you want to validate something, right? Let's say you have a user registration form, right? You have user registration form. So in some user registration forms, whenever you type the username type කරලා ඉවරනකොටම කියනවා website එකකින් this username is already in use, please choose another one, right? හැබැයි අපි app එකක් develop කරොත් මේක ගන්න, so if we develop the PHP application to get this, you have to reload the page. Once you reload the page, it will communicate with the database and give you the response that this username is already in use. But in certain websites, you have seen, I think you have seen that whenever you finish typing the username, it says the username is already in use. You can't use that one. Similarly, when you enter the email also, it says email is already in use, please use another one, right? So that is done through this asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Otherwise, you have to always reload the page to communicate with the MySQL database and get the proper output. But when it comes to Ajax, you can simply call the backend and get the information from the same page without reloading, right? That's the simplest use of Ajax. So I want you to go through this. Some of you may be aware of Ajax and everything, some of you may know, and some of you may know some advanced features than Ajax, like state handling and all, right? So if you don't have any experience in Ajax, I want you to go through this for starting next week's session, which is in XML, right? So you can go through these XML tutorials. It's a really good one available in W3 schools for XML. You can go through that one also. As I remember, there was a website too, but I prefer this one. This is really good. So I want you to go through this Ajax and XML both if possible. So whether you go through or not, we'll be doing it from the beginning from next week onwards. In the meantime, so I don't think we have enough time to start this today. Do you have any questions regarding anything? Any question?
No, sir.
Right, then shall we stop the session for the day? Start.
Okay, sir.